Hello everybody and welcome back to Minecraft. So in the last one, we got started with some more of the sorting stuff and just about finished it off, thereabouts. And since then, I have been a busy little bee. I've got a lot to show you, so let's get right to it. Okay, so first things first, done very minor things to the sorting system, like really not a lot. Whacked in a chunk loader here, which is, humongous. I just put it on the max radius so it's covering the entirety of the new base. Seems there's not that much here, it's not going to lag out. That's the joy of the void base. You can just chunk load the whole thing and not have to worry about extra mobs and caves and things that are always loaded, so it doesn't slow the server down too much. It's great, I love it. Also moved our ender chest over here, and got our remote orderer pipe thing in. Done some minor chucking things away. Nothing too much, nothing that special. And I've also hooked up our mining platform again, so that's off and running and lagging everything to hell, but bringing us a crap ton of ores, and the sorting system seems to be dealing with it. It seems to be alright. But more importantly than that, I've been doing a crap ton of building. Like, a lot of building. So let's have a look at that. Yep, that would be the building. Yeah, I kind of got a bit carried away and just didn't sleep for 12 hours, so it's fine. Screw it. So yeah, I've got a few new buildings. So first things first, I love this little thing that I just randomly just started doing here. It wasn't even intentional, but it's kind of come out like theme parks or something. It's great. It's like, this is the nice area where you come in and then you come over here and it's like, industry and toxic waste and shit. It's great. Anyway, so this is our ore processing room. With some old stuff, some new stuff, some stuff I'm sure you'll recognise, and some stuff looks a little bit different. Like the metallurgical fuse, for example, they actually do look a little bit different because I've updated the texture pack at last to a slightly higher resolution and got some of the other mods included in there, like chisel. All these wonderful cool blocks that you can make with chisel, like all the different factory blocks. Finally updated them so they're higher resolution and don't look like complete crap. So I've been using them for everything. I love them, they're cool. So new stuff. I'll just walk you through the room, I guess. So I've got a capacitor bank in the corner just for the sake of having a bit of a buffer for the ore processing room. And this is getting power through this dimensional transceiver. So this is a Ender IO thing, but it's basically the same as a Tesseract, except I don't think it can transfer as much power. I think it's capped at like 1,000 RF per tick, or maybe that's per face. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know, but it seems to work quite nicely. And I think I'm pretty much going to use that all over the place wherever I need power, basically. I've gone hooked up underneath the sorting system as well. Though it's, all the power still coming in through a Tesseract from the old base at the moment, because I haven't set up power just yet. But it seems to be working quite nicely. And the other things you've probably noticed immediately are these things, these conduits, which again are from Ender IO. I'm really quite enjoying that mod. It's a lot of fun. So these things are pretty cool in the sense that, well, apart from just looking cool, they let you do a bunch of different things in one block. You can basically put any conduit you want into the same block and it will always just be one block. That's it. You don't have to have multiple cables and pipes and things running around. So there's energy conduits, there's item conduits, there's liquid conduits, there's redstone conduits, and my personal favourite, the ME conduit. So that's why I've kind of got these things flying around here, because that means I can have energy and the ME cable. It basically works exactly the same as the ME cable, just running along the same line, which is quite nice. So just being kind of like ME cable, you can hook up import buses, export buses, hook straight up into machines like this one, like the crafting terminal, everything. It just works perfectly. It's brilliant. So yeah, a lot neater, and I think it looks quite nice. I quite like the look of these things, especially when you sort of get them around things that sort of look like they're spiders or crabs or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, more new stuff. I think this is all mostly familiar. It's all pulverizers, smelters, that kind of thing. These are all, import buses, export buses, blah, 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 blah. So these ones are just popping into this chest and getting sucked up by an import bus. These things are a little bit new. So this is basically the same production lines we had in the old place, where it's getting ores coming in, getting purified, and then crushed, and then enriched, and then smelted. So it's the 3 times ingot for ore line. But these aren't the same machines. These are factories, which do the exact same thing, and you still have to do all the same requirements, like pumping in oxygen for this one, the purification chamber. But it can do 3 items at a time, which makes it a hell of a lot faster, which is pretty awesome. And quite surprisingly, I love it when they all kick off. The noise is great. Yeah, surprisingly, this is keeping up really, really nicely with the automated mining platform. It's just not getting an overflow at all. It's doing really well. I'm quite impressed. Let's see, anything else new in here? Oh yeah, actually, something else about the conduits. I'm gonna grab myself one of them actually. Conduit. Yeah, because that'll let me show this off a bit better. So you can also hide these things in walls really nicely, like I've done here. So these 3 blocks don't actually exist, they're conduits with conduit facades. So that energy conduit's just going through the wall and into this pulverizer. And if you're holding a conduit, it shows you where all of them are, which is really nice. So I just kind of like tucked them away all over the place, which is pretty fun. So they're dead easy to make. It's just out of a conduit binder, which is just like sand and clay and gravel. And you just put them together to make a conduit facade. And then you whack it in this painting machine, which does need power. But then you can just chuck any block in there, and it will paint it that colour, or that block. It is just literally that block. So if I just put that onto okay, well now, boom, it's that block. Awesome. Simple as that. Oh, it even breaks the layout block. I didn't even know that bit. Cool. So yeah, pretty useful things. I like them. I wonder if you can repaint those, actually. Well, there's a thought. Can I repaint these? Yes I can. Oh, even better. Cool. You learn something new every day and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much conduits and stuff. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God, I hate these guys. The Dryads look so fucking weird with the new texture update. Look at them. Look into her eyes. I'm going to kill you now. Yeah, anyway, let's leave her alone. Moving on to power storage. Again, just kind of chucked all the old machines out here because, fuck it, why not? Don't need them anymore. They can be decoration, like a theme park ride. So this is new power storage. Got a humongous capacitor bank over here, which is storing 300 million RF, which is pretty nice. Once I sort of like go back to the old base and take down the old one, when I get the new power set up here, I'll probably mine out the old one that we had and do another line down that side. So I have all of the RF in the world. And some more cool things with Ender IO are these power monitors. If you have them kind of like in a central position in your power network and attached to conduits, then it'll tell you your average input and outputs over the last 5 seconds, which is really quite useful. It's kind of like saying it's even just because these things are completely full, but yeah, whatever. If you're at a bit of a deficit, it's nice to be able to see exactly how much. Pretty useful stuff. So that's power coming in through the Tesseract from our old base for the moment. And that is the dimensional transceiver that's, these capacitors are sending power to everything else in the base, basically. It seems to be working pretty well, so I'm probably going to keep this similar setup. When I set up the new power, I'll probably have it going into either dimensional transceivers if they can transport enough power, or maybe Tesseracts if they can't. Stick them up there, I guess, and it'll be fun and nice. Yeah. And didn't really talk much about the blocks I'm using. Like I said, it's all just chisel stuff. Like some of these are just factory blocks and stone bricks. This gives this nice sort of panel thing. And all of the inverted lamps. Yeah, you totally can't tell that I love these things, can you? They're everywhere. But they are like hella expensive to make. It costs like 4 glowstone, I think. Is it 4 glowstone? I'm pretty sure it is. Let's have a look. Inverted. Yes, these things. Pretty sure it is 4, yeah? Yeah, 2 glowstone makes 1 Illumar, which you need 2 to make a lamp. Yep. 4 glowstone to each one. But I love them. They look really cool, even if they are a pain in the ass to make. Anyway, moving on to the last big room. This awesome thing with toxic waste outside of it and Lorien blocks just hanging around because I have 80 bajillion of them. Like, seriously, I've still got about 4,000 in storage even after doing all these blocks. It's mental. And discarded fuel rods, because why not? So this is going to be our reactor room. It's pretty friggin' huge, but I quite like it. It was quite fun to build. Just neon green everywhere, and I love these warning strip things. They really look awesome. So I think that is what I'm going to do now, and get on to building the new reactor. And this one's going to be a bit different from the old one. Well, for a start, it's going to be friggin' huge. These green lamps are literally going to be underneath the reactor. Deliberate choice, just because it looks really cool when you put something over, because you still got the green line. So I thought it would look quite cool. But also, it's going to be well, apart from being up to the ceiling, it's going to be a passively cooled reactor. No, wait, the wrong way around. Actively cooled reactor. I forget which is which. Passively was what we were using, where you cool it with fluids inside of the thing. But this one, we're going to pump water into it, and then that's going to create steam, which we're then going to pump into turbines, which is what's going to actually generate the power rather than the reactor itself. Now, it's probably going to use up a bit more fuel, especially considering I don't really have the resources to build all of the reactors right now, or the patience for that matter, because we're going to need a few reactors on this one. So I'm not entirely sure how big I'm going to go. I think I'm going to start off with a small one, and if that chucks out a decent amount of power, then I'll have enough room in here to build like 8 turbines, which would be pretty good. Or if it's not that great, I'll sort of build a big one and we can do 4. It'll be fine. So I've got pretty much all the stuff lined up for it, which took an incredibly long time. Like I said, I just didn't sleep for 12 hours, so I played Minecraft instead. So yeah, a lot of this stuff was incredibly annoying to make and incredibly necessary, but I'll kind of go through it as we go along. But for now, I'm just going to build the basic actual reactor, and I will be back in a minute, because I'm sure you don't need to watch me build it again. It's basically the same thing, except you don't put a power port in it, you put coolant ports in it, which are these things, which let you pump out the steam and pump in the water. So I'm going to build this new reactor, and I'll be back in a bit. Alright, there we go. That thing's kind of huge. It's a bit of a monster. Yeah, awesome. What the hell? Yeah. So this is pretty much, standard, same design as I had before. I feel like the ring of fuel rods with one empty in the middle, surrounded by resonant ender, because it's good at keeping the particles in and keeping the radiation high, which lowers the fuel burn up. And left the middle empty, because I'm not too worried about heat, really. I've got so much yellorium I don't actually care about, wasting fuel particularly. I just want a crap ton of steam coming out of it, so I don't really care if it's hot as hell. So, the way this is all set up, I've got some reactor access ports with import and export buses on them, putting in yellorium and exporting, or taking out the, whatever it's called. I've forgotten what it's called. Whatever it is. Cyanide, I think that's it. And then around the back here, this is where things change from the standard one. So I've got 2 reactor coolant ports, both set on the inlet mode, which is the blue one on this, with the arrows pointing in. And I've got transfer nodes hooked directly up to a water source block that will infinitely respawn. And there is a very deliberate reason why I'm using those, because this thing sucks up water like all hell. Like, if you try and do this with aqueous accumulators, it is not going to work. Unless you have hundreds, and I mean literally hundreds of them. I tried it in creative mode. It does not end well. So this is pretty much the only way that I know of to get enough water in there. And that's only if you put a ton of mining and speed upgrades on there as well, like a full stack of each. Then it seems to be able to keep up just about. So with 2 of them, that should work, I hope. I hope I don't have to do a 3rd one, because I don't want to make any more upgrades. So I have to make more mining upgrades, more iron picks. Bah, humbug. Then also on this side I've got another reactor coolant port going in, and this is going to match up with the turbine coolant out. And then I've got a reactor coolant port out, which is going to match up with the turbine coolant in. So essentially this is going to be pumping out hot steam, which is then going to go into the turbine and get used and drive the turbine to make me power. And then coming out of the turbine is going to be water, which is going to go back into the reactor to get turned into steam again. And it'll just kind of cycle around quite nicely. That's the hope anyway. It should work like that, I think. So yeah, that's basically the reactor. Like I said, pretty much the same as the other ones, except now you have water going in and steam coming out. So yeah. Anyway, time to get on to building the turbine. This thing's not quite as bad as it sometimes looks to be. It's not too bad, but all the same, probably worth checking out. Why haven't I got another random... Oh yeah, for the later ones. If I got everything in here, I think I do. Okay, load of turbine housing, load of turbine glass. I don't even know how big I'm making this thing. I just made a ton of this stuff. So I figured I'm going to be making multiple turbines anyway, so whatever, doesn't really matter if I have too much of it. So I'm going to need that enderium. Why have I got all this down here? That makes no sense. Get some of this rubbish out of there. Enderium in there, turbine rotors, turbine rotor shaft, turbine rotor blade, yep. Well, let's start with that and build the outer shell of it. So how big am I going to build this again? I was going to build it 5, wasn't I? 1, 2, is that right? I was going to build it there. 3, 4, 5? Was I going to do that? Yeah, that's what I was going to do. Cool. And have it come right up to the reactor. Literally touching it. So I'm literally going to put the reactor coolant ports and the turbine coolant port directly touching each other. Oh yeah, I was just going to do a small one, so I don't know why I'm going that far out. It's not supposed to be as wide as that thing. That... I suppose, I'll have to pipe out the second turbine, but whatever, this will work for now. Or should we just pipe both of them out then? Screw it, yeah, let's do that. Let's pipe both of them out then. Actually, no, it's going to save me on transfer nodes. What am I doing? That is a much better idea. Yeah, I'll just have, I'll come to put the second turbine next to this one. If, assuming this one goes well. I'll probably just put a couple more reactor coolant ports or another outputting reactor coolant port pushing out into the turbine next to it, I guess, using the transfer node. Again, the transfer rate is ridiculous with the steam as well. It's pretty insane. I'm going to need those transfer nodes. There's not a lot else that can cut it. So this is pretty much like the reactor in that you can build it pretty much whatever size you want. And it sort of has different effects, but I haven't really quite figured it out as much as I had with the passively cooled reactor eventually. But basically, the bigger you build it, the more turbine rotors and blades you can have in it. So that's kind of why I'm building a big long one, because I want a lot. I want a lot of rotors in this, but not necessarily a lot of blades. Seeing as it's going to be having so many turbines if this one works well. That's the hope, anyway. So it shouldn't need to do too much with the blades, I think. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of wing it and see how much power it gives me. It's a plan. It is kind of a plan. And last time I tested something vaguely similar to this one in creative on my test worlds, it seemed to chuck out a fair chunk of power. So yeah, let's see how this one goes. This isn't quite the same, but same concept, isn't it? Ish. So like I said, yeah, you pretty much build it very similar to the reactor to start with. Same with the having to have the turbine housing on the outside. Same with the reactor, and you can choose glass or turbine housing for the walls, whichever you prefer. But who doesn't like staring into their crazy, humongous contraptions and seeing them all whizzing around with blades and steam and well, everyone loves that. It's amazing. So this is the part that I always frigging forget. I can never remember which. Shit, that was not what I meant to do. Bugger. I thought that was the turbine glass. I'm a dumbass. Right, reactor glass, there you are. So fill that back in. I love the noise that resident ender makes when it teleports an item away, or when it teleports you away. Right, glass. Yeah, there's I can never remember which side the rotor bearing goes in. It goes in one side. I can never remember which one it is. Well, hopefully be fine. Let's grab some of this stuff. Rotor bearing, fluid port, power port, and controller. Awesome. Is that everything I need? Yeah, cool. So let's assume the rotor bearing is going to go there, and hopefully it'll be fine. And fluid ports are going on this side, and so that one is inputs on the bottom. Shit, I've forgotten which way around the way now. Yes, that one wants to be outlets. Cool. You are in blue for outlets. I like that it matches red to red, blue to blue. That's a good idea. Okay, cool. Did I do the ceiling yet? Nope. That would help. Ceilings are good. Would be helpful in keeping the steam in. Probably a good idea. Otherwise, it'd just be a waste of the whole thing. Not that it would actually make the multi-block, but, that's beside the point. Hypothetical and stuff. Right, just got the back to do. Yep, cool. Okay, so let's lay in... I think it is this way around. I think. Well, we'll soon find out, I suppose. So let's go in the rotor shafts along the rotor bearing all the way to the end, and then go in the rotor blades alongside them. And if you do it right, because otherwise it'll be flat and weird and look like it's completely out of place. So like I said, you can build these a lot bigger, and when you do build them bigger, you can just put blades on top of each other like that, so you can extend them out sideways. But the small one should probably work fine for my purposes, I think. So long as my purposes are a ridiculously huge amount of power, and it would help if I got them on top as well. Actually, I don't think you have to put them on top. I just kind of automatically do out of habit. I don't think you actually have to if you don't want to. You just kind of leave it at two turbines, I think. Not two turbines, two horizontal rotors. Sure, that works. I'm doing it again. I'm trying to block myself off from doing it on the bottom as well. Humbug. You go under there. There we go. Let's try and get this sorted out. And this looks good. And by looks good, I mean I can't really tell if I've got them all right, but I think I have. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yep, looks alright to me. And I've brought these out too far as well. So when you're doing this, whoops, didn't mean to kill the rotor. Is that right? How many blocks away am I? That's a wall, that's one, that's two. Kill that one. And bring the rotor shaft back out again. Is that right? Yeah, that's right, cool. So then after you've got the rotor blades and rotors in, you have to put a coil in. Now you can use lots and lots of different blocks for this. Okay, that was just my server lagging. I personally am using Enderium blocks, and yes, they are a pain in the arse to make, and yes, I slightly hate myself for choosing to use them. But they always go in a ring around the end of the rotor. You can do like 1 layer or 2 layers or up to 5 layers, I think. But they're always just a single ring around the rotor. Even in a bigger one, it's just that 1 layer around, like one depth widthwards that way. You don't have them going all the way out to the end of the case. It's just that 1 ring around the rotor. But yeah, with this way you can have it going up to 5 in depth, I think. I'm just going with 2 because, sure. Because reasons, that's why. And that has worked. It looks like I did get the rotor bearing in the right place. It does go on that end, not on the coil end. Awesome. Except I didn't do it completely right because, you know, even though it's made the multi-block, it doesn't have a controller or a power port. And that would really quite help. So let's whack a thingy in there. Controller, you go there. Power port, you can go there. Why not? Boom. And is that everything I need? I think so. Cool. Ah, god damn it. Yep, just saw that bit of a boob I made. Don't replace this stuff. What a bell end. I'm not sure if it actually makes that much difference if you just have random things missing, but you know, it finished the multi-block, so it can't have been that catastrophic. And how did I break that? God damn it. You go back. That was quite a high jump. Turbine, rotor thingy, and one there. Did I get one on the bottom? Yes, that looks better. Cool, that's better. Alright, now we're ready to fire this thing up. Okay, cool. So let's fire up the reactor and see how the hell this thing does. Activate reactor. Ah, the heat. Yep, I thought that would immediately go off the scale. Not surprising in the slightest. Well, let's turn the bloody turbine on. Engage the coils. Activate the turbine. And put it on vent overflow only. That'll work. Because you don't want to put it on closed, otherwise it'll just stop working. You'll be like, well, why isn't it working? It's because you're not venting the water. Okay, and let's let that spin up for a while. Let it get to rotor speed. So, much like the old passively cooled reactors, where you wanted to get in a very specific heat for optimum performance, you do still want to do that on here. I'm just not bothering because, yeah, whatever. It's only fuel. I have millions of them. But on this thing, you want it to get to a very specific... I just realised I haven't hooked any power to this thing. What a bell end. Yeah, you want to get it to a very specific road speed. As it says there, you want it best at 900 or 1800 RPM. And, yeah, it's not necessarily means like if you're sort of at 1500, take it down to 900. It'd be better to get it up to 1800 because it does produce a lot more fuel than it does at 900. But all the same, you just kind of want to mess around with this thing, which is the max flow rate. If you can just kind of mess around with that a bit to get the sweet spot where you get it dead on 1800, and that seems to work. It's almost a bit like filling with the control rods on there. And yes, I need to get power. How was I going to power? How was I going to power? That is the question. I don't even know. Shit. Psst. I did not think this through. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is go and grab a Tesseract from the old world. That should be fine. Run! Okay, that should work now. I've just whacked that on there. Will that work? I hope so. Send energy. Send energy. Send energy. Everything else will be blocked. We're going to put this on a new frequency, which will be void power. Cool. Awesome. Frequency 2. Sweet. So if I run over here and change this onto frequency 2, we should see power coming in. Void power, void power. Set frequency. Receiving energy, and we should maybe see average input is coming through the Tesseract. Awesome. Alright, so let's see how much this sucker is actually putting out. So this thing's probably hot as hell and burning up a ton of fuel. That's actually not as bad as I expected. Huh. Not quite 1 millibucket a tick. That's not too bad. It could be worse. And power we're getting out. Whoa, okie dokie. That's actually quite hot. That's going a little bit fast for my taste. Let's take it down a notch. Just go right, down, go down. Oh, come on. When are you going to go down? Happy at 1,000? Or do you want to like 850? I think you'd be happier at like something down there. Just away from the 2000s. These things, as far as I know, they don't explode. It does say they do there, but as far as I know, that isn't actually in yet. They don't explode and kill everything yet. That may be coming in the future update. It would be quite fun if they did, but yeah, what can you do? And that's getting to the right temperature, speed. Crank it up, let it slow down, not quite that much. Get us to that sweet spot of 1800, 850 seems good on this one. Roughly, is that good? You happy with that? Yes, that's pretty good. So we're getting 10,355 RF per tick. Nice. That's pretty sweet. Or 10,350, yeah, thereabouts. Yeah, pretty cool. Alright. Our rotor efficiency is actually not that great. So our flow rate's slightly above the amount of blades that we can handle. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, the flow is going past the capacity of our blades. Whatever. I don't care. We're using 920 millibuckets a tick, and we're getting 10,000 RF of fuel. Of fuel power. All of the power. Let's see if the tesseract reflects that, actually. So I don't know how much that puts in. And that's not going to say anything because it's these things are full. Well, I stole a couple of these things, or one of those things. Will it say briefly? 3, 4... Well, that just immediately filled up. Did that retain its power? God damn it. So I don't entirely know how much it's putting out, or how much I'm getting, because we don't actually need the power, because I've got that much stored. Okay then. Well, I'm just going to turn this off for a minute. Yes, you have to reactivate the reactor. Let the turbine carry on. Save fuel, why not? Actually, no, deactivate both. Or I could just deactivate the torsions. That would be a much better idea. Leave that activated. Deactivate the coils on this thing. Disengage coils. That'll stop producing power. Awesome. And yeah, cool. That's starting to drain. Should see that this is getting nothing in. Oh no, it is still getting stuff in. So the buffer on the thing and stuff and blah. Okay, so once the buffer's gone on this, then what the fuck? Whoa, that's gone crazy bollocks. Stop, just stop. Stop, please. Please stop. Okay, stop. Just deactivate the turbine. Okay, that was weird. Oh, it picks right up where... Huh? What the hell? Insta-stop. Activate. Stop. 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 Okay, fair enough. It's just doing that thing. That's cool. Let's just deactivate everything. Just everything turn off. Everything stop. Chill. It'll be okay. Just want to use up the power while we can. Okay? Okay? Okay. Alright, well the capacitor's drained about 500,000 RF, so let's boot everything up and see what happens. I want to know, so we should be getting about 10,000 or thereabouts. Straight away, 8,000 on there. What does it say we're getting? It says we're getting 8,000. Nice. Oh, that's... Oh, yeah, it's going down because it's hit the capacitor bank storage already. Cool. Well, what did hit 8,000 for a second there, which is what it said on there. So it looks like these the tesseracts are doing good. They're not limiting the power at all. So I might sort of experiment with dimensional transceivers, doing the same thing. Just kind of see if they can teleport the same amount of power, because they are certainly a lot less annoying to make than the tesseracts. But yeah, and then I'm gonna have to like go to the mining platform as well and change the frequency. But if I actually have to change frequency, if I just do it on power, then it'll be fine, because I haven't got anything drawing power anymore apart from that, right? Yeah, that should be fine. Why did I make a new power frequency again? I don't know. Let's just put on that one and set frequency. And do the same one here. Oops. Yep, charge into that thing. Good plan. Definitely a good idea. And do the same on that one. Cool. Yeah, just delete that one actually. Disabled. There we go. Delete frequency. Void power. Yes. Cool. There we go. Awesome. Well, it seems to be working well, and we're getting a crap ton of power in. Nice. What's our fuel burn up rate again? So have we like lost anything already? 0.2% depleted. Wow. Actually, then again, I suppose it's chucking out as soon as it's done, isn't it? It's about to. Yeah, cool. It emptied, and then my system automatically put it in. So it's using 1 millibucket per tick, so 1,000 millibuckets, so 1,000 ticks, 20th of a second, so it takes some time for the thing to thing. Okay, the fuel burn-up rate could be worse, could definitely be better. I think it's using up a full bucket about every 50 seconds or so. That could definitely be better. I should probably get my miner back on the go fairly quickly. It's not too big a deal, I've still got hundreds upon hundreds in storage, so it's fine. But yeah, I should probably get the miner up and running just to be safe. Or I could just ignore that because I've got like 4,900 odd in there, I think. Yeah, that's what I said. These it's a bit hard to read. Yeah, 4,910, 11. Okay then, cool. Oh god. Yeah, I think this reactor's going to do us very nicely, especially considering that is definitely not using up all the fuel, like even remotely. And I could just build another one of these to get another 10,000 RF per tick. I'd say our power needs are pretty much done. Nice. Actually, to be honest, I could turn the controllers down on this just to like reduce the fuel burn up, considering that I've already got one reactor going and I don't need this much power, but screw it, we're rich. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this one, so thank you very much for watching. As always, I'm SuperStrewdel, and I'll see you in the next one. Catch you later.